Princess Beatrice has always stood apart from the rest of her family. While others are often viewed as cautious or guarded, she has built a reputation for seeing the good in people, sometimes even when warning signs are right in front of her. Critics argue that this tendency may have shaped the way she viewed some of the difficult situations surrounding her family. Supporters see it differently. They believe it reflects kindness, loyalty, and a genuine desire to believe the best in others. But could that same outlook also explain her relationship with Edoardo Mozzi? Some people seem to glide through controversy without ever appearing shaken. Headlines explode. Rumors spread. Public figures face relentless scrutiny. Yet somehow, a select few remain calm, polished, and seemingly untouched by the chaos around them. And that brings us to Edoardo Mozzi, Princess Beatrice's husband, a man whose carefully controlled public image has sparked admiration, curiosity, and plenty of questions over the years. At first glance, Edoardo appeared to be the perfect addition to royal life. He was confident, successful, articulate, and remarkably comfortable in the spotlight. While many people struggle with the intense attention that comes with royal connections, he seemed to adapt effortlessly. To many observers, he looked like someone who belonged in that world from the very beginning. But as with so many royal stories, the closer you look, the more complicated things become. And that's where the real questions begin. Long before royal engagements and palace appearances enter the picture, Edoardo had already established a successful life of his own. He was in a long-term relationship with architect Dara Huang, and together they shared a son, Christopher Wolfe. For years, they appeared to be a modern success story, balancing demanding careers with family life. Then, seemingly out of nowhere from the public's perspective, the relationship ended. On its own, that wasn't unusual. Relationships end every day. What caught people's attention was what happened next. Within a relatively short time, Edoardo was linked to Princess Beatrice, instantly transforming him from a successful businessman into one of the most closely watched figures in royal circles. Royal watchers immediately began asking questions. How quickly had the relationship developed? How had such a major life transition unfolded? And perhaps most importantly, why did he seem to avoid the level of criticism that often follows high-profile royal romances? The answers remain surprisingly unclear. Part of the fascination may lie in how Edoardo handles public life. Many observers believe his calm demeanor can be traced back to his upbringing. From an early age, he moved in circles filled with influential people, successful entrepreneurs, and individuals accustomed to public attention. Reputation mattered. Composure mattered. Learning how to navigate pressure was simply part of the environment. Imagine a pilot guiding a plane through turbulence. Passengers may panic, but the pilot knows that remaining calm helps reassure everyone on board. Throughout his public life, Edoardo has often displayed a similar approach. When criticism appears, he rarely responds. When speculation grows, he rarely engages. And when controversies swirl around the royal family, he usually remains silent. But is that wisdom, strategy, or something else entirely? As his career developed, Edoardo built a strong reputation in the competitive world of luxury property development. Through experience and business success, he expanded his portfolio and established himself as a respected entrepreneur. From the outside, it appeared to be a straightforward story of professional achievement. Of course, luxury property development rarely exists without debate. Questions about housing, wealth, investment, and community impact often surround the industry. Like many people in that field, Edoardo occasionally found himself connected to broader discussions about exclusivity and urban development. Yet one thing remained remarkably consistent. He rarely entered public disputes. He rarely responded to criticism. And he rarely appeared rattled by controversy. That tendency became even more noticeable after he entered royal life. When Princess Beatrice and Edoardo announced their engagement, many royal supporters celebrated the news. The couple appeared genuinely happy, and their long-standing family connections made the relationship feel like a natural fit. Yet behind the scenes, the timing could hardly have been more challenging. The royal family was entering one of the most difficult periods in its modern history. Negative headlines were mounting. Public scrutiny was intensifying. Family controversies were dominating news coverage. It was hardly the ideal moment to join one of the world's most famous families. But somehow, Edoardo continued to maintain the same measured approach. And that raises an interesting question. Was he simply adapting well, or had he already mastered the art of staying one step removed from the storm? Then came their wedding. Many expected a large royal celebration filled with tradition and spectacle. Instead, circumstances led the couple toward a much smaller and more intimate ceremony. What could have been viewed as a disappointment became something many people found refreshing. The wedding felt personal, elegant without being extravagant, meaningful without feeling overly staged. For many observers, the ceremony reflected the couple themselves. It focused on family rather than spectacle. At a time when the monarchy faced significant challenges, it offered a rare moment of warmth and positivity. Yet even after the celebrations ended, public fascination with Edoardo only continued to grow. As Princess Beatrice navigated the pressures of royal life, Edoardo remained largely true to form. He avoided headline-grabbing statements. He stayed away from public disputes. He focused on family and professional responsibilities. Supporters praised the approach, arguing that speaking publicly about sensitive matters would only create more problems. Critics saw things differently. Some believed that silence can sometimes leave others to face criticism alone. Others argued that staying quiet is simply the smartest way to avoid making difficult situations worse. And that's where the debate becomes particularly interesting. What exactly should be expected of someone who marries into royalty but isn't a working royal? Should they publicly defend the institution? Should they remain neutral? Or should their priority be protecting their own family and reputation? There are no clear answers. And perhaps that's why Edoardo's role remains so intriguing. Every person who enters the royal family handles public life differently. Some embrace the spotlight. Others avoid it whenever possible. What makes Edoardo stand out is the consistency of his approach. Even during periods when the wider royal family faced intense media scrutiny, he rarely changed course. His public image remained steady, controlled, and notably private. Then another chapter revealed a more personal side of the couple. The arrival of their daughter brought immense joy, but it also came with unexpected challenges when she was born earlier than anticipated. Reports suggested it was an emotional and stressful time, reminding people that beneath the titles and headlines, royal families face the same fears and uncertainties as everyone else. Moments like these have a way of cutting through public image. Suddenly, status becomes secondary. What matters is family, health, and supporting one another through difficult circumstances. For many observers, this period offered a rare glimpse of Beatrice and Edoardo not as public figures, but simply as parents facing a deeply personal experience together. But even then, the mystery surrounding him never really disappeared. In fact, it may have grown stronger. Many people feel they understand the public version of Edoardo. He appears successful, composed, professional, and comfortable in both business and royal circles. Yet surprisingly little is known about the man behind the image. Unlike many modern public figures, he rarely shares personal details. Interviews are limited. Public commentary is scarce. Private matters remain private. In today's world, that stands out. We live in an age where public figures often feel compelled to respond instantly to every rumor, criticism, or controversy. Edoardo frequently chooses the opposite approach. More often than not, he says very little and allows events to unfold without public intervention. Whether that reflects confidence, discipline, caution, or calculated strategy depends entirely on your perspective. But one thing is difficult to deny. It has worked remarkably well. Years after becoming connected to one of the world's most famous families, he remains one of its most private figures. And perhaps that mystery is exactly what keeps people talking. The public knows the major milestones. They have seen the photographs. They know the headlines. Yet much about Edoardo remains hidden from view. Maybe that's intentional. After all, mystery can be a powerful form of protection. The less people know, the harder it becomes for them to confidently define who you are. While other members of the royal family often find themselves pulled into endless public debates, Edoardo has largely managed to stay just outside the center of the spotlight. Visible enough to attract attention, distant enough to avoid becoming the main story. That balance is incredibly difficult to maintain, especially within a family where almost every appearance and relationship generates headlines around the world. Yet somehow, he continues to do it. And perhaps that leads to the bigger picture. The story of Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mozzi may not actually be about scandal or controversy at all. It may be a story of adaptation. One person was born into royal life. The other chose to enter it. Together, they have had to build a life under a level of public scrutiny that most people could never imagine. What makes Edoardo particularly unusual is that he entered royal life with an established identity of his own. He already had a career. He already had business interests. He already had a professional reputation separate from the monarchy. That independence has given him a degree of flexibility that many people connected to the royal family simply do not have. At the same time, it comes with challenges. Every business decision can attract attention because of who he married. Every public appearance can be analyzed. Every social connection can become a topic of discussion. Actions that might pass unnoticed for an ordinary entrepreneur often receive far greater scrutiny when linked to royalty. Observers have frequently noted how comfortable he appears navigating that reality. Rather than chasing publicity, he maintains a relatively low profile. Rather than inserting himself into royal debates, he focuses on stability, family, and business. It may not create dramatic headlines, but it has helped build a reputation for discretion and restraint. Whether that reputation remains unchanged in the years ahead remains to be seen. What is certain is that Edoardo occupies a unique place within the modern royal story. He is close enough to the monarchy to attract fascination, yet independent enough to remain something of an outsider. And that unusual position continues to make him one of the most intriguing figures connected to royal life today. In the end, the truth behind Princess Beatrice and Edoardo's marriage may not involve shocking revelations or hidden scandals. It may be something much simpler. Their relationship exists under extraordinary pressure. Every family challenge becomes public discussion. Every appearance is examined. Every period of silence can spark fresh speculation. Yet despite all of that, they continue moving forward together. Whether that comes down to resilience, mutual support, careful judgment, or a combination of all three is something only they truly know. What remains clear is that their journey has been far more complex than the polished photographs and royal headlines often suggest. Behind the tailored suits, public appearances, and carefully managed image is a man who has spent years mastering the art of navigating difficult situations while keeping his focus on family, business, and stability. In the unpredictable world of royalty, that may be one of the most valuable skills a person can possess. And perhaps that's the biggest mystery of all. Is Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi exactly who he appears to be? Or is there still much more to the story than the public has ever been allowed to see? The answer may be the very thing that keeps royal watchers fascinated for years to come.